got to now look, y'all know, I'm really trying. Not to have to sit here and keep calling out these crazy white folks in media. But they keep getting on my damn nerves. All right, so check this out. The New York Times columnist, opinion columnist, Ross Douthat. That's how it's pronounced, Jay? That's his name? Whatever. His name is Ross, okay? He's a conservative. Y'all, he wrote this column called Why We Miss the WASPs. Okay, now it was dealing with the death of President George H.W. Bush. Now here's an excerpt from his column. The nostalgia flowing since the passing of George H.W. Bush has many wellsprings. Admiration for the World War II generation and its dying breed of warrior politicians. The usual belated media affection for moderate Republicans. The contrast between the elder Bush's foreign policy successes and the failures of his son. And the contrast between any honorable politician and the current occupant of the Oval Office. But two of the more critical talkers takes on Bush nostalgia got closer to the heart of what was being mourned in distant hindsight with his death. Writing in The Atlantic, Peter Beinart described the elder Bush as the last president deemed legitimate by both of our country's warring tribes before the age of presidential sex scandals, plurality winning and popular vote losing chief executives, and white resentment of the first black president. Also in The Atlantic, Franklin Foer described the subtext of Bush nostalgia as a fondness for a bygone institution known as the establishment, heartened in the cold of New England boarding schools, acculturated by the late-night rituals of Skull and Bones, sent off to the world with a sense of noblesse oblige. For more than a century, this establishment resided at the top of the American caste system. Now it is gone, and apparently people wish it weren't. Now, I think you can usefully combine these takes and describe Bush nostalgia as a longing for something America used to have and doesn't really anymore. A ruling class that was widely, not universally, but more widely than today, deemed legitimate, and that inspired various kinds of trust, intergenerational, institutional, conspicuously absent in our society today. Put simply, Americans miss Bush because we miss the WASPs, because we feel at some level that they're more meritocratic and diverse and secular successors. Ooh, I love this. Rule us neither as wisely nor as well. Let me unpack that. So what essentially he is trying to lay out is that you had white Anglo-Saxon Protestants like President George H.W. Bush, who ruled in a different way than those who followed him, including his son, including Bill Clinton, including Barack Obama, including Donald Trump. And when he says that we're longing for this, the issue that I have with this is that Ross was tweeting and he tried to say that, well, no, what I really meant by that is the service of these WASPs in terms of their commitment to public service. Well, here's why that is such a trash and trifling analysis by Ross. Because I can show you people like Frederick Douglass who gave service to America. I can show you people like Sojourner Truth who gave service to America. Ralph Bunche, the first African-American to win the Nobel Peace Prize, gave service to America. I can show you the countless men and women, A. Philip Randolph, who led the first labor union of the Pullman Porters, who gave service to America. You don't have to give service to America being a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. See, what Ross also seems to somehow ignore is that America was created for white folks like President George H.W. Bush. That is, white landowners. See, it really wasn't even made for broke-ass white people. It really was for white landowners. Those were the people who were supposed to also vote in this country. And see, America likes those type of people because America was built on the basis of white supremacy. And so essentially what Ross is saying is that we long for the days of white supremacy, long for the days of when you have individuals who were educated in boarding schools and then, of course, educated at the elite institutions of Yale and Harvard and Columbia and Princeton, all the Ivy League schools. And I dare say, no, Ross, There are many other Americans who have given their lives of service to this country who didn't go to Yale but who went to Howard, who didn't go to Princeton but who went to Spelman, who didn't go to the boarding schools, who went to public schools, individuals who understand also what it means to be American. So no, Ross, we don't long for the days of WASP running America. We actually long for the days of when individuals who live in real America, America who's actually had to deal with something, folks who didn't get hooked up as a result of their white privilege, folks who also did not use their white privilege to get their children in schools that they didn't have the grades to get into. Even George W. Bush admitted so in 2004 when I was one of the 4 journalists who questioned him at the Uni Journalists of Color Convention in Washington, D.C. And the problem that I really have with that piece is the New York Times is run by a black man, Dean Beckett. So how does America long for the day when WASP ran the country when the first time in history a black man is your boss at the New York Times? Not a black man saying, yes, boss, but a black man said, yes, I am the boss. See, the real issue, and I keep telling y'all, and at some point y'all gonna realize this, is that the problem that we have, white folks are fearful of the future. They are fearful of America, where the WASP will not be controlling this country, where we are not going to have the day that every time this is a Supreme Court nominee, they're going to come from Harvard or Yale. They actually might come from law schools at TSU or Howard University or Florida A&M. See, that's actually real America. See, if you read this article, and I really tried to understand what the hell he was saying, besides it being extremely poorly written, is that we don't long for the days of folks like George Herbert Walker Bush. In fact, he even took a shot in the piece where he said that Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, in many ways, operated in the same vein as the WASP. Well, because see, here's why, Ross, because the WASP constantly tell us we've got to act like them. The WASP tell us if you want to be accepted, you must go to the schools that we go to. You must dress like us. You must talk like us. You must walk like us. That's also perpetuating white supremacy, Ross. That's what you don't seem to quite understand. So no, I don't long for the days of WASP running America. In fact, I long for the days when we have people who come from other places who don't get us into wars we should not be in, with people who are brown because they somehow want to control their oil or somehow want to control their natural resources. See, that's actually the history of the WASP. The WASP also are the ones who ran Native Americans off of their land and decimated their history and decimated their people. See, that's also a history I don't quite long for. It's also the WASP who also denied black folks opportunities during the period of Jim Crow and after slavery. That to me is also the days I don't long for. I don't long for the days of Dred Scott. I don't long for the days of Plessy versus Ferguson. I don't long for the days when Heman Sweat had to sue the University of Texas and they created a black law school now as called Texas Southern University because they couldn't get to the University of Texas. I don't long for the days when black folks had to be led to the University of Mississippi with federal troops, all because of the WASP. No, Ross, that's a day that we don't long for. And in fact, we are more than happy to say good riddance. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. We transition into the holiday season. This is the time when we start thinking about giving and sharing. Sometimes the best gift you can give somebody is an opportunity that could potentially change their lives economically. That's why our friends at Transatlantic Real Estate have created an investment opportunity for the everyday investor. It involves legal marijuana and crowdfunding. No, we ain't trying to give you weed. We're trying to get you to make money off of weed. Now, we all know that legal marijuana has created one of the fastest growing industries in America, a multi-billion-dollar industry. We also know that crowdfunding makes it easy to be an early investor to get in on an opportunity. It really is a no-brainer. But it gets even better. Transatlantic Real Estate is different. And they have a business model that is simple to understand. They buy land that supports marijuana grow operations and lease it to licensed, high-paying tenants. Now, did you hear that? You are investing in the landlord of a licensed marijuana farm in a high-growth market. And for a limited time, you can invest as little as $300 up to $10,000 before the company goes public. Now, here's some more good news. They recently extended the offer, which means you still have time if you take action now. Now, keep in mind, you must complete and confirm your application to participate. So be sure to complete the process. Now look, don't spend all your money over the holidays and end up with empty pockets and buying stuff that you're not going to be able to use a year from now. Instead, get a return on your investment. You can also consider making an investment for someone special. How's that for a holiday gift? Yes, you're welcome. To get started, go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org to get in the game right now. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered.